Okay, hey guys, going today, rebrand video. Today I'm gonna try to cover Big Six the best I can. Now, uh, I'm gonna link the doc. Yeah, hold on. Give me a quick second. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I have the document link ready for when the video drops, and at the top of the document, there's the Pokepaste. So Big Six is very complicated. It's easily the most so when I started playing VGC seriously in March, and I've been spectating since last November, this is easily the most complicated team that I've had to lay my eyes on, and yeah, just running it is like so fucking hard. Like I think only the best can really play this team and at its full potential. And yeah, it's really complex. It has an answer to everything. You kind of just have to figure out how to pilot it, and also like it has so many different modes as well. So essentially, I'll go quickly over the EV spread. So the Charizard spread, I literally got this from Chris Hahn, Darts VG. Truth be told, I don't know what the fuck it does. The 11 speed I know does outspeed Adamant Garchomp. I mean, not Adamant Garchomp. Adamant Basculegions with max speed. But the problem is, I feel like because people don't use that Sash set anymore, that 11 maybe just not be that relevant of number anymore. So this EV spread could definitely be like more optimized. The Garchomp spread is pretty well optimized. I got this one from Federico Camporesi, and he does tell me that he runs like a little bit less physical defense for more power, but this set is still very good. I know it lives Dazzling Gleam, spread Dazzling Gleam from Floette, and yeah, it's pretty bulky. It gets the Citrus done. Some in matchups where it's your win con. Holy fuck, this music's so loud. In matchups where this is your win con, then this Mon will take over because it just stands there spamming attacks, and Citrus Berry will just heal off all the damage that they do to you. Floette, Timid is just important for like certain lines. In my first match with the team, like the very first match I played with the team was against was actually against a top player, and he was using the Frostlass Lycanroc team, and I led Floette plus Basculegion into him, because it's what Federico Camporesi does with his Timid Floette. And yeah, Aqua Jet plus Dazzling Gleam, because I'm Timid, outspeeds both the Adamant Lycanroc and the Modest Frostlass, and I can just click Aqua Jet plus Dazzling Gleam, and it just threatens so much here. It does over half to Frostlass. It KOs Lycanroc before it gets an attack off. Yeah, it's just broken. And yeah, like this turn 1 was so good for me. He swapped a Sneasler and I instantly killed it. And I did half to Frostlass, and then this was Moonblast range, so I was able to kill with Moonblast the next turn. It was so good. It was so fucking strong. Yeah, so Timid Floette is also just nice for like outspeeding opposing Modest Floettes and getting like the Light of Ruin off before they can get an attack off, or you just need to Moonblast them if you get like the right chip damage. And you can also speed tie opposing Jolly Garchomps, because everyone's using Jolly Garchomp. You can speed tie those, so you at least have a 50-50 to get your attack off and kill them before they can do anything. Kingambit here, it's a very simple set: max HP, max attack. You want 1 speed. If you use 2 speed, then you speed tie min speed 60 base speed mons, like potentially like min speed Instants or min speed Free in Trick Room, and because of that they will underspeed you, and you just don't want that, so you want to use 1 speed instead of 2. And then 1 speed F is just like it might come up, so yeah, you have that. Black Glasses is just like there's so many pins you can form with Black Glasses, basically like if you sucker something in the other game, you can put into kill range of like one of your spread moves, or you can spam spread moves early on in the game, chip everything down, and then Black Glasses Sucker Punch will just finish them off. For example, a very good application of this is when you damage Charizard. Black Glasses Sucker Punch should usually do about like a bit over half. If they're really bulky, it still does like half. So yeah, as long as you get them to that like golden percent, then you can finish it off with Sucker. Because a lot of the time when you're using like a different item like Octoberry or Chopaberry, you get the card jump down to like 50, 60, like 50%, maybe even like high 40s, and Sucker Punch just won't kill. Like having that extra damage does matter for like getting pins on Charizard, getting pins on Garchomp, bulky Basculegions, etc., etc. Because being able to Sucker Punch a Basculegion in the early game and just knowing that it will kill is also like really nice. Then there's Whimsicott. Everyone uses this EV spread. Maybe you use like 2 defense, maybe you use 2 speed F. It's whatever. You kind of need. Everyone's using Sash plus Timid max speed because you're kind of trolling if you don't. And then the Basket Legion. This Basket Legion, I just used like as much HP as I could, so that way I didn't take as much recoil from Wave Crash plus Life Orb. Obviously you can EV this with like 30 defense. There's like an EV spread you can do 18 attack, 30 defense, 16 speed, and this makes it so you always live like Sucker Punch from Black Ops' Kingambit. But I don't really think it's worth it for that one specific calc when you're not how I play the team. I don't actually lead Whimsicott Basket Legion that often, so needing to live that doesn't really come up that often for me. I just want to have the most consistent set in the most scenarios, so because of that I'm using max attack, as much speed as I possibly can afford, and then put the rest into HP so I don't like super die to Wave Crash, Recoil plus Life Orb. So that's what this Basket Legion EV spread accomplishes. Now in Team Preview, in a lot of the matches, every match that I pretty much analyzed for like both the ladder sessions I did with Big Six, you notice that I would analyze, hey, my opponent is weak to, only has like 1 or 2 checks to this mon, so I either have to early game kill the check, or late game just find a way to get KOs. So like, okay, so if I think they have to check in the back, I can lead them on, bait it in, switch my mon out, kill it, and then Tailwind, later game Tailwind plus that mon like wins. Like a lot of time, like I can go like, I lead Zard plus Whim, they don't usually lead Garchomp, and then I can bait the Garchomp, get the Heat Wave chip, finish it off with Moonblast, switch my Zard out, do whatever with my team, and then Zard under late game Tailwind just like sweeps his team for their team, for example. That's like a very basic example. Another example is like Staraptor teams. Staraptor teams are actually really weak to Kingambit if you just get rid of the Staraptor. So I lead Zard Whim into that team, and I click Tailwind plus Heat Wave. I would love to click Moonblast into their Whim, or just like double their Staraptor even. But the problem is they could be using dual Wind Beat on Staraptor, and my Whim could just die before I get Tailwind up. So I just opt to sacrifice the later staggered Tailwind and just go for like Tailwind plus Heat Wave. And as long as you double connect, you get good chip damage onto their mons, and then you can usually clean up with Kingambit from there. So that's like a basic example. Just getting like spread damage early on is also just really nice. Just so that way you could set up end games where Life Orb, Aqua Jet, or Black Glasses Sucker Punch for Kingambit are able to clean up the game. But you can also lead both Gambit plus Basque, which is mentioned in this lead section, where you can lead both, get damage off, and then Whimsicott Tailwind plus your Mega spamming like Dazzling Gleam or Zard Heat Wave, just is able to win. Yeah, so Win plus Zard approach, if against teams are weak to Zard Y, this version's really good. Against teams into a lot of matchups, if you don't really know what to do, Win plus Basque is usually a safe lead, but I don't really like leading Win Basque into like Kingambit stuff, and for that reason you might have to run this EV spread instead. I don't really rely on Win Basque as a crutch lead. I kind of just tried my best to master the team and know what to do in every scenario, so that way I didn't have to do the obvious leap of Win Basque into just random matchups I don't know what I'm doing into. And yeah, this lead is still really good. It covers a lot of stuff, and yeah, just hitting like Tailwind Wave Crash and then cleaning up the game with like Mega plus Gambit or Chomp is usually still reliable. Then if you want to like set the pressure and get as much damage as you can early on, you could do Mega Pokemon plus Basque or Gambit. So for example, against HT Hard Trick Room team, I'm leading, you see me lead Charizard Kingambit into the Scarf's Final Gambit stuff from the opposing HTR team, and basically it just baits them to clicking Final Gambit into something, so I can just go swap my Zard to Basket Legion, protect my Kingambit, and yeah, just the threat of me leading Charizard Gambit makes him want to swing Final Gambit into something, and then I can, after he sets up the Trick Room, I can just go Wave Crash into Staraptor, Countdown Clave into Furgraph, and I usually just win from there because I'm able to double protect, double swing into double protect again, and I just win. And if the Furgraph dies, then the turn die double swing, I can just spam priority moves and get the Torkoal to very low HP, so that way Eruption doesn't do that much damage. Yeah, so another time I did this lead was the last match of my second session with Big Six, where I was fighting up against some random team where essentially they just didn't have where is it? They just didn't have good coverage. Yeah, so they didn't have good coverage into like their only answers to Floette were Ceruledge and Metagross. So I just led Floette plus Kingambit because Kingambit covered for both Ceruledge and Metagross. And yeah, so I just did that lead. It just had like the best coverage, and it set the offense early. And I was just able to click Dazzling Gleam plus Kowtow Cleave into the Hydreigon slot because it's very likely they just swapped the Hydreigon to something that tanks the Dazzling Gleam. And yeah, he did do Scarf U-turn into Kingambit, brought out the Ceruledge, and I was able to one shot the Ceruledge. It was really easy. So yeah, um, yeah, so just leading like a Mega plus Gambit or Basque is also good. Another one is just Star Chomp. Against teams that are really weak to like the ground fire coverage, which is Heat Wave EQ spam, you can obviously just lead this and set the pace early. Now obviously you can also just lead Whimsicott plus like other Mon and then have Zard plus Chomp in the back as cleaners, which is also good because under Tailwind those guys are just like an insanely strong win con duo. But I still think that even as a lead, it's very viable. And then finally, we have Gambit plus Basque, like I mentioned earlier. If you want to just, yeah, if, in matchups where you think that leading like against like teams that are really weak to Fairy types, I found that you can lead Gambit plus Basque, start swinging attacks early, and then Tailwind plus Dazzling Gleam into both Mons having Fairy or boosted Moonblast is just like really strong in the end game. So yeah, you could have like Wind plus Floette in the back with this combination very often. Yeah, but obviously you can have like Zard as well with the Wind. So yeah, all these combinations work good. It's up to you. But yeah, this team's really difficult. I hope you guys enjoy. It's going to sign out. Peace.